Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a fireside chat between Coupa and Taxback International. The topic today will be how to find hidden value in your accounts payable invoices. My name is Sally Stevens, and I'm the VP of Alliances at Coupa Software. I want to thank everyone for attending and for your time, of course. And please note this will be recorded and we'll share it either later today or tomorrow with all of you. If you have any questions, please submit them through the Q&A and we'll follow up with you with those questions via email with the follow-up that we'll do once this event takes place. I want to spend a minute and just tell you about Coupa Software. Coupa is the industry-leading spend management platform today. And I'm really proud to announce that we were chosen again for the 5th year in a row by Gartner as the leader in this category. What we do is we help companies gain visibility and control over their spend in order to be more efficient, reduce risk, and ultimately improve the bottom line. Coupa delivers value as a service with a relentless focus on partnering with customers to ensure customer success and to drive measurable spend outcomes. We help customers spend smarter together. So Ina, I'd like to welcome you. It's really great to see you. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Thank you, Sally, and a pleasure, obviously a pleasure seeing you this way. Unfortunately, it is via Zoom, but next time we'll be side by side having a more intimate chat, we'll say.
Great.
So I'm the Strategic Director of Global Accounts here at Taxback International, and I look after VAT recovery for our large multinationals at a global scale. So to give you a little bit of background, a bit of basics as to what we do, is we recover VAT on companies and in travel spend. So basically, if you travel overseas or if you travel locally, you can recover that VAT that you've incurred. And also on your accounts payable invoices, where you have vendors that are charging overseas VATs, as an example. So very, very basic. As a company, you travel abroad, you're entitled as a business, a registered business, to recover VAT from 47 international countries. And also then in terms of domestic VAT, there are over 180 different countries that have a local refund or local reciprocity mechanism, where again, you can recover VAT on your spend, such as, mileage, travel, hotels, meals, parking, etc. So that's just a little bit of background to Taxback International, kind of the basics of what our discussion is going to be on today.
Fantastic. And yes, I will take you up on getting together in person when we can. Coupa and Taxback International have been working together really closely for a few years now, which has been great. You're part of several different programs, including Coupa Link, where you are the only certified technology partner for VAT recovery. And the certification is important because it means that we verify that the solution works, the integration works, and the customer can implement it without any concern about not only that, but also they get quicker, time to value. Right now, the integration between Coupa and Taxback International allows customers to reclaim VAT off of their invoices and expense reports. Can you maybe explain a little bit about VAT tax for those who may or may not know or are new to it? And then also, what is the integration and how does your technology work?
Absolutely, yeah. So firstly, I suppose we're delighted to be certified by Coupa Link. It's a fabulous achievement for us. I know there's been a lot of work, me excluded, in the background to get that done. So I can definitely say that it is, from our point of view, a really important allegiance and partnership that we have. So as I mentioned previously, the basics of VAT is a tax on goods and services. So if you're a company and you have overseas suppliers, they potentially can charge VAT on their AP invoices, where there's an opportunity to reclaim them from the overseas tax authority. Regarding expenses, as I mentioned again, if you travel overseas to those 47, 48 different countries where there's a reciprocity mechanism, you as a business are entitled to recoup that VAT back from that foreign tax authorities. And again, thirdly, I suppose from a domestic point of view, if you're traveling locally within your country, like within Canada or within Japan or the UK, Australia, New Zealand, etc., and right across Europe, there you are entitled to recoup the VAT on the majority of those expense categories too. So when we talk about our integration and our link and how does it all kind of come together and how does it all work? So as you mentioned, we're certified with Coupa Link. So what that allows us to do is to integrate our software into the Coupa platform to pull down the data. And the reason we pull down the data, I suppose, firstly, is because we want to analyze the opportunity for our joint clients. So built in behind the scenes is our software which is called VAT Connect. And the VAT Connect has all of the reciprocity rules built in those 180 different countries. So we're able to identify where the employee is based, where their expense is, where it's traveled to, and whether it's a domestic or a foreign VAT opportunity. Likewise, we'll link into the Coupa invoice, where we're able to download the invoices data to determine again if you have overseas suppliers and if there's an opportunity to recover the VAT from the tax authorities as well. So that's sort of the first port of call, is to analyze the opportunity for our joint customers. And the way the software works then, we pull in the data, and then secondly and automatically then we pull in the image for that invoice. So when we see a transaction data, we see that it's a UK employee in the UK or a Canadian employee in Canada, and it's a hotel expense. We'll identify that as having an opportunity. And what the software will do using the latest AI and ML is it will analyze those invoices and determine what information is on them. So is there the name and address of the company? Is there a GST or a VAT breakdown? Is there itemized split? Is there an invoice number? Is there a date? Because all of this information is applicable and required from tax authorities when you're submitting these refunds. So all that then is fed into the system, and we were able to identify whether it's an overseas foreign VAT recovery application or a domestic VAT recovery application. Regardless of whether it's your AP invoices or your T&E expenses, they all get routed down the same platform. And what we're aiming and what we do, I suppose, and what we offer to our clients is fully compliant indemnified VAT recovery solutions, which is really, really important. So if you're a tax person, you're a finance person, you don't want to assume the risk from a VAT recovery perspective. Taxback International, we will. So there's no, I suppose, manual input from employees required, and there's no additional kind of reviews and ongoing kind of audits of what the reports, etc. we provide to you, because you'll have full view in our analytics platform, but also with that indemnification means that you have the confidence and the comfort that if you are inspected by a tax authority in 2 years' time, everything will be 100% compliant.
That's fantastic. You really touched on a number of valuable points here, Ina. And I'd just like to add that your value proposition fits in nicely with Coupa, where we're helping companies get their spend under management.
Mm-hmm.
It's really great for us to have a partner that provides tangible value right out of the gate. And also knowing that you have the country tax and compliance expertise helps put our joint customers' minds at ease.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, we do this for over 180 different countries for our clients. Again, it depends obviously where their geographical footprint is. But having that expertise just gives that client that comfort and to say, we can outsource this, we can give this to a third-party provider. We don't have the resources to go looking at individual receipts and small meal receipts, coffee receipts, taxi receipts, and hotel invoices. Let an expert do it. And that's why we've been so successful over the last number of years.
Yeah, sounds like a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
So as we're all painfully aware, COVID's a topic that we can't get away from at the moment. And I'd like to just share some thoughts on what Coupa's seeing in the marketplace relative to the new normal. And in my opinions, many companies have had to adapt in many areas of the business, which inevitably for some have resulted in a loss of revenue. Our viewpoint is right now, a dollar saved is almost more important than a dollar earned. And Coupa has been fortunate in that we've been able to help our customers get visibility into their spend with our business management spend platform. But, like everyone, we've had to get creative with more ways to help our community drive greater value during this time. And we've done a couple of what I think are some really cool things to help our customers during this time, like letting them use virtual checks through our Coupa Pay solution so that they don't have to mail checks. They don't have to go to the post office. The suppliers can, receive payment, and all of this is done, without any risk. Through the power of our community and Coupa Advantage, we have had our customers group source things like N95 masks, disinfectant, sanitizers, and a whole lot of other critical supplies that they couldn't get anywhere at this great time of need. And many companies now are finding themselves having to shift their strategy and focus in order to adjust to the new normal. And we believe that Taxback International can help customers as well. You've got a great solution to boost cash flow fast back by tapping into the hidden VAT potential. Could you explain what this means further, Ina?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like everyone, they've been impacted with COVID, and, ourselves included. So we have a number of different areas. One of the brilliant things about Taxback International is we're very innovative. So we don't solely rely on one area of revenue. in terms of VAT recovery. It's a huge part of our business, but it's not the be all and end all as such. But one of the key areas that we have been working with clients over the last 6 or 7 months is on what we call backdated domestic VAT recovery opportunities. So I'll give an example. So I've been speaking to a particular company, huge multinational, about their VAT recovery. And, you know, we're talking millions here. It was quite an extensive amount of money over a number of years. But they didn't have time, they didn't have resources, they didn't have the want, I suppose, to go in and look and to recover this VAT. But as soon as COVID hit and revenue streams dropped for companies, then they suddenly realized, okay, well, here's a quick win for us. We've got this excellent company, Taxback International, who we've been speaking with. We know they have a fully automated, fully indemnified, compliant solution. So let's start talking to them again. So what we're able to do is link into their systems and review the VAT opportunities for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, and that will depend on the country. So the same way we would do with an ongoing domestic VAT recovery project is we look and we identify and analyze the data first to see what the VAT recovery potential was for 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016. And once we're able to identify that opportunity, then similar, we pull in the VAT, we'll pull in the invoices and the images of those receipts, push them through the AI and ML technology through VAT Connect and identify what is refundable for those 4 particular years. Our clients will then have to, I suppose, include them in an amended return or a voluntary disclosure, which again, we can assist them with. But the tax people generally in companies of that size will know exactly what to do. So this is a quick and fully compliant indemnified win for our companies. And as I briefly mentioned there, you can go back, depending on the country, anything up to from 2 to 4 to 5 years. So it can be quite substantial. You know, some companies could be, you know, €100,000, other companies could be 2.5, 3.2 million, who knows? But again, as you know, and we've spoken previously on this, it's money that belongs to them. You know, it's not a tax authority's money, it's their money. So why not get it back into the revenue? Why not get it back into their cash flow system? So that's, I suppose, one huge area that we've been working with companies over the last 7 or 8 months. But as well as that, we offer additional services like, for example, health checks on domestic VAT recovery opportunities. Previously, companies may have done it themselves. And here what we find is a lot of companies have missed on VAT because depending on their systems and depending how it's tracked, you know, an employee might upload an invoice or a receipt, but it may not be flagged that there is an actual invoice there. So a lot of, you know, as an example, we found a company a couple of years back who missed out on almost £500,000 of VAT because the employees weren't uploading the information correctly. And because they had these systems where no one was checking them, there was a huge opportunity to recover that VAT. So that's what we like to do. We like to go in and assess what's been previously recovered to determine and make sure they're not losing out on anything there. And again, those 2 areas are kind of generally related on T&E and the T&E expenses. But I suppose thirdly, but not finally, we look at AP invoices and AP reviews. Because again, here, you know, depending on how companies' systems are, there is, especially backdated when they haven't implemented like a Coupa invoice platform, is where there is opportunities for mistakes that could have been made, where, you know, vendors may have been paid twice. They have incorrectly charged VAT, which is a huge one, where they haven't realized, you know, that they're not supposed to charge VAT. And it's these sort of areas where we help our clients to determine additional cost savings as well. So, you know, with those 3 kind of areas, there's a massive area for cost savings and for revenue generating. And then the final one I just want to touch on briefly is the area of VAT compliance. So as I mentioned, we're not solely a VAT recovery provider. We do manage a full suite of VAT services. So companies across Europe and various other countries around the world have to file, you know, regular monthly, quarterly VAT returns. And this is something that we provide and have been providing for a number of years. And the real cost saving there is our service versus a big 4. You know, there's no comparison in terms of, you know, we're not a franchise system, and we manage and file the VAT returns ourselves, and we can do it at a kind of more competitively, we'll call it. And more companies again are looking for areas where they can possibly save money on with their third-party providers. So.
Well, that definitely goes into supporting the dollar saved is more important than a dollar earned. And actually, these dollars, not only were they earned, but it seems like they're gathering dust, if you will.
Absolutely.
You know, is there a deadline, you know, a time limit for these back taxes to be reclaimed?
Yeah, so when you're talking about the domestic VAT, it'll depend on the jurisdiction that your entity is in or that your companies are working in. So, for example, France is 2 years, Germany is 4, Denmark is 3, I think the Netherlands is 5, Canada, I believe, is 3 as well. So there's various different deadlines. But again, we have all that information built into our VAT Connect software. So when we pull in the data for Coupa, we'll know that, for example, in France, we can go back for 2 years. So we won't analyze the data, for 3 years. When Germany, we'll go up to that 4-year period, but we won't analyze any data after that because, unfortunately, there's no potential there for our clients. So again, clients can be comfortable in knowing that, what we're going to be providing will be, recoverable, will be compliant, and there's no issues about kind of, going outside of those kind of very global and European deadlines.
So isn't there a deadline coming up in December?
Yeah, so that's slightly different, actually. It's a good question. That's slightly different. So that relates to the foreign VAT recovery on your accounts payable invoices and your T&E expenses as well. So that deadline is for non-EU companies who are traveling to the UK. And the period is slightly different. It's not a normal calendar year. It goes from July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. And the deadline to submit those applications to the UK HMRC is December 31st. So, clients based in Switzerland, Norway, in the US, and Canada, in Japan, and India, any non-EU companies or entities within your company who are looking to recover and looking for some revenue, this is the most pressing deadline that's coming upon us in the next 7 or 8 weeks. There are other deadlines, standard deadlines, usually goes calendar year. So, December deadline or 2020 deadlines have passed, and they were for 2019 recovery. But any VAT opportunities that from a foreign VAT recovery perspective from January 2020 is still in play. And because you're entitled to recover or submit 4 applications a year on a quarterly basis, you can recover that VAT, right away from Q1 2020.
Well, it sounds like you just gave a number of companies some homework to do in order to meet the deadline, which is great. So I hope everyone takes action on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and people can reach out to us. I mean, our whole aim here is to provide kind of full traceability and full visibility, similar to what you guys are doing in terms of controlling the spend. So using our analytics platform, our clients are able to assess and review each and every single application, right the way down to a transaction level that we're providing or submitting to the tax authorities, along with additional data fields that are great for, accounting reconciliation back into their ERP systems. So not only do we provide reports that the tax offices need, but there's additional data feeds like a department code, perhaps cost centers, ledger codes, these that are not applicable to the tax authorities, but they are when you're reconciling back into those ERP systems. So again, as much data that we can receive, all the better, because we can then turn it around and provide it to our clients very, very simply.
That's really interesting stuff. From my experience in working here at Coupa, I've noticed there's some key challenges that companies are facing now in regards to business spend management. And I think that as I go through these points, you'll also have something to add. And there's a few things that are top of mind. One of them is the need to gain immediate control and visibility into their spend to help identify and realize savings. And certainly, with your solution, that is going to help them find lost money, if you will. They need to reduce risk by improving spend visibility, compliance, and managing parties more effectively. You've talked about the compliance and sort of the risk that you take on so that other companies don't have to. And then last, improving operational efficiencies with easy to use technology, minimal data entry, and a global support model. And you've talked about that these folks who are looking to reclaim that really, they don't have to do anything or very little to anything. And so that's why, this relationship and these two technologies are such complementary solutions for each other. Did you have any additional points around those that I just mentioned, Ina, that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you mentioned the integration and the automation between our two platforms is fantastic. So, we're not asking our clients to do anything different. So I gave a little example earlier where people miss VAT because employees aren't uploading the correct information. Where our integration with Coupa will pull down every single transaction, no matter what the employee is inputted. If we see an expense category, it's potentially eligible, we'll review that data and review those images. So we won't miss out on anything. And again, from a visibility and control perspective, we report on absolutely everything. So as part of our analytics and part of our platform is, okay, we've identified that there was, €500,000 of VAT to recover. We recovered 420,000, there's an €80,000 gap. Why and where is that? So with the tools and the integration that we built with Coupa, we can assess and provide that information back to say, well, here's the 80,000 of VAT that we didn't recover. It's from these entities, it's based on these expense categories, and here are the reasons why. There was no invoice in the system, there was no receipt in the system, there was missing or incomplete details, the name and address wasn't available, or there was no VAT breakdown, or it was we had a crazy one years ago, the picture of a petrol pump, so there's no information on that will deem it to be a correctable receipt or invoice. So all of those measures are part of our service. There's no additional cost for this information, because at the end of the day, our job is to maximize our clients' VAT recovery. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that we're doing that, and we will go give guidance and give information back to our clients as to why perhaps they're losing out on VAT, and we'll put in educational steps with them to look to increase that, year on year, and grow the percentage of VAT that they're recovering on an annual basis.
That's great. Are there any other benefits or opportunities that you wanted to talk about? And of course, are there any limits when it comes to engaging with you?
No limits is the first answer. If there's reciprocity and if there's refund mechanisms in a country that you're working in, we'll be able to assist you. The benefits, again, is removing that manual administration work when we talk about, low value and high volume receipts. Companies don't have the resources nowadays to employ people to go through receipts and invoices on a manual basis, albeit even if it is up in the cloud and in the platforms. So our automation just allows that to happen seamlessly in the background, and companies are delighted when they see the VAT recovery coming in on a regular basis. So the linkage and I suppose the integration between Coupa and TBI really solves any of those resource admin problems, but knowledge problems. So most companies, have a tax department, but they don't know global tax. They know, their individual regions. So Canadians will know Canadian GST, HST, QST. Japanese will know consumption tax. But what Taxback International offer is that global platform where we can provide you with all of the information and all of the recovery opportunities from 180 odd countries.
That's fantastic.
And actually, one last thing, with zero risk. That's huge. So it's a compliant service, zero risk, and from a tax perspective, tax people, love it, because the last thing they want to do is risk submitting inaccurate claims in front of a tax authority. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of very serious repercussions if you do that. So, Ina, what would you suggest that the folks listening on the phone today should do as far as next steps go, besides meeting their December deadline?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Well, I suppose the first way to meet the December deadline is to connect, is to integrate between, through the Coupa link. And what we can do is we can analyze that data for, and it doesn't cost you guys a penny as a Coupa client. So that analysis will allow us to size up the opportunity, obviously for the upcoming December deadline, which is imminent, but again, for backdated and for, future VAT recovery opportunities. So my advice would be to get in touch with us, either at Taxback International or to Coupa directly, and we can set that up to get that analysis done for you guys. The other area, I suppose, kind of what we're looking at is a health check on what you've done previously. Because again, you want to make sure what was submitted to the tax authorities in the past on your domestic VAT recovery reports, especially for your T&E, was accurate. And we can review that to give you the comfort that yes, it was accurate, or actually, you may have overclaimed VAT by 20%. But the other opportunity is you may have underclaimed. So again, there might be another opportunity to recover additional VAT. So, both areas are key. Both areas are very important. And, if you get in touch with us, we can do it and get a turnaround time very, very quickly. That's
great. Absolutely. The next step would be to get in touch with Taxback International for a free analysis. We're going to follow up with all of you with an email that'll have all the contact information that you need. There'll be contact information there as well for Coupa. So we can also help you learn about how you can get your business spend under management, we'd be very happy to do that. And I just want to thank everyone for attending. I know we're all having a lot of Zoom meetings these days, which is a little bit fatiguing. I hope it was valuable. I hope you understand now why we think that, Coupa and Taxback, that this solution can help you, manage your spend, provide valuable insights, drive improvements, and also, help you claim the tax that you've had sitting on your books for a while and get some extra money in this time. So I'd like to wish everyone well. Please stay safe. And Ina, if you'd like to say goodbye, then that'll be a wrap.
Yeah, look, again, Sally, thanks for the opportunity for letting us chat about our work together and our integrations. Folks, I can't stress enough that money is yours. It doesn't belong to anyone else, no tax authorities. So whatever way we can help you guys, just get in touch and we'll do whatever we can for you.